Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the secret history of a piece of music you have absolutely heard before, but whose story is, well, it's pretty unbelievable. Some sounds, they're just instant, right? A couple of notes, that specific rhythm, and you immediately get the reference. It's like this cultural shorthand, a little sonic wink that pretty much everyone is in on. But what if I told you that familiar sound is so much more than a punchline? That it's actually the key to a whole hidden history, a forgotten musical movement filled with some seriously brilliant artists and just incredible wild stories?
Yeah, we're gonna pull apart the mystery of this music. And honestly, you might be a little shocked by what we find.
That's what some music historians are calling it now. I mean, what most of us would just write off as, cheesy background music is actually a legitimate, fascinating genre. It's time to get past the stereotype and really dig into the art.
Because this music isn't just a vibe, it's not a cliche. It has a name, it has a definition, and a really specific origin story. And believe me, it was no accident. It was created completely on purpose. It's called Porn Groove. And it was this deliberate mashup of some of the coolest sounds of the 70s. We're talking soul funk, smooth jazz, even a little bit of psych folk. All of it engineered to create a very specific mood for a very specific kind of movie.
And the formula for it was so specific. You had to have that deep, funky bass line setting the mood. Then you'd get that smooth, kind of lazy melody from a Fender Rhodes keyboard. Of course, you need that unmistakable wah-wah sound on the guitar and the saxophone. As one musician famously put it, if there's sax, there's sex.
So how on earth did a whole genre like this even happen? Well, to really get the music, you have to understand the era it came from. Because for this one brief, really strange moment in time, pornography actually went mainstream. So coming out of the late 60s, adult films started showing up in actual movie theaters. They had plots, bigger budgets, they were being treated like legitimate cinema. And then, in 1972, this film, Deep Throat, becomes this massive, totally unexpected mainstream hit, and the floodgates just opened. The entire industry was suddenly flush with cash. And when I say cash, I mean a mind-boggling amount of money. It's estimated that Deep Throat, just by itself, pulled in around $600 million. To put that in perspective, that's more than most huge Hollywood blockbusters were making at the time.
And that financial boom is what directly paid for the creation of Porn Groove. All of a sudden, producers wanted their movies to feel sophisticated, to feel high quality. And that meant hiring real composers and real musicians to write original scores.
Okay, and this is where the story gets truly incredible. Because the people who are making this music, they weren't just anybody. They were some of the most talented, most respected musicians of their time. And they were all working in complete secrecy. I mean, these artists were living these crazy double lives. Take a guy like Alain Groger. He's literally considered a French national treasure. Publicly, he was the famous arranger for Serge Gainsbourg and the composer for that cult classic animated film La Planète Sauvage. But secretly, under the name Paul Verneuil, he was one of the biggest porn groove composers out there. And he'd often record the music without ever even seeing the movies he was scoring for.
Or how about this guy, Bernard Pretty Purdy? He is a legendary jazz drummer. His resume is insane. He played with giants like Miles Davis and Aretha Franklin. He is one of the most recorded drummers in history. And he also composed and performed the entire soundtrack for a 1974 adult film called Lyle A.
And the list of this hidden talent just keeps on going. The incredible rhythm and blues singer Doris Troy, you definitely know her voice from Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, while she also lent her amazing vocals to a porn groove track that one critic perfectly described as sounding like a naughty James Bond theme.
So, what happened? I mean, how did this vibrant, surprisingly star-studded genre just kind of vanish? And maybe more importantly, how is it being rediscovered and even reborn today?
Well, the thing that killed it was technology. Once home video, VHS tapes, then DVDs, and the internet, once that took over, the whole economic model just collapsed. Theatrical releases were gone, the budgets got slashed to nothing, and that need for expensive, custom-made soundtracks, it just evaporated. They were replaced with cheap, generic, stock music. So for decades, the music was just lost. But in the last few years, this passionate group of music collectors, they call themselves diggers, and these little boutique record labels have started this kind of musical archaeology. They're hunting down these forgotten soundtracks, cleaning them up, and re-releasing them as serious works of art. And people want to hear it.
A crowdfunding campaign to reissue some of Alain Goraguer's secret work on vinyl was so popular, it raised over 6 times its initial goal. That just proves there's a real hunger out there to hear this lost music.
You know, the story isn't just about the past. A new generation of filmmakers, who are making what they call ethical or feminist adult films, they're actually reviving the tradition. They are hiring composers to create original scores that are thoughtfully woven into the story and the action, bringing the art of the soundtrack right back to the genre.
Which kind of leaves us with this final thought. The story of Porn Groove. It really shows that incredible art, incredible creativity can pop up in the most unlikely places. And it makes you wonder, what other masterpieces, what other lost continents of culture are just out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to find them?